Oh, Australian women. She's pregnant too. I'm not even joking.
You finally made it.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
Welcome to Tasmania.
You've seen the icons, but trust me, there's more out there. You might want to stick around. I'm Jason Godfrey, and this is my journey down under.
With its wild places of pristine freshness, you could say that Tasmania is one of the last frontiers. Its natural beauty and clean, green industry is set against the backdrop of its dark, penal heritage. Suddenly, it's as if I've gone back in time. The village of Oatlands is a national treasure, seamlessly blending the past with the present. This is the largest collection of sandstone buildings in Australia, and many of the old cottages are still in use.
Speaking of which, look at this windmill. Well, I'm gonna check it out.
Faithfully restored, the Callington Mill is once again producing organic flour from locally grown wheat. Now their natural unbleached products are famous throughout Tasmania. I talked to Sam about what they produce here.
We get 5 products from the wheat. We get our wholemeal first, a light sift flour.
Right.
That's as far as we can go to a white flour because we don't bleach. Then we get our 85% traditional semolina. Last product is the bran.
What do you do with the flour afterwards?
We do sell it to bakeries. You can go down on the main street, the Companion Bakery. He does fantastic bread from our flour.
Cool. I'm gonna head to the bakery now and see if I can taste the windmill difference.
Artisan baker Graham Pritchard of Companion Bakery is going to teach me the art of making sourdough bread.
All right, kilo of flour,
Yeah.
400 grams of sourdough starter. I'll just measure that out. That's around 700 ml of water, 20 grams of salt. Now you can add this in virtually any order.
So now what do? We mix this around
Mix it
with
up. Yeah, just get in with your hands.
You just get in with your hand. Is this looking done? It's like, it's pretty stiff and...
What's happened here, a little bit by accident, we finished up with the perfect consistency dough. Kneading is just all about friction and folding.
How do we need like forceful friction, like smacking
Yeah,
it?
that's fine too. This is actually the one point in bread making where you're allowed to get quite aggressive with the dough.
Yeah.
So I'll come back in around 10 to 15 minutes.
Wow, that looks really good actually.
I've actually never done this before. Whipped into a pide straight out of the oven. But that's incredible, look at that.
Oh, that's good.
Normally you don't eat sourdough hot, but in this case it's perfect, absolutely perfect.
Next stop is the Freycinet National Park. Time for me to check out the famous Tasmanian wilderness. Overlooking the stunning clear waters of Coles Bay is the Freycinet Lodge, a tranquil place specifically kept free from the clutter of modern life. This is where you'd want to go to get away from it all. Let's forget the lodge's outdoor pursuits for a while. What I'm really interested in is tasting some Tasmanian whiskey.
For Scotland, it's been around since 1494, basically, so a very long time ago. For Tasmania, since 1992, only 20 years ago. in
20
Tasmania.
years versus 400, what,
Yeah,
500 plus
no,
years, 600 years of...
Something like that, yeah.
Wow.
Already, they taste on par, if not better than the Scottish. Now we're moving to our first Tasmanian whiskey,
Right.
which is the Sullivan's Co. double cask single malt.
Round 1, Tasmania wins.
Elliott's Road is quite an interesting one. And the bourbon barrels have been char fired, so the inside of the barrel is like charcoal.
Oh yeah,
You get
it's
that
really nice.
smoke at
And
the
get
end.
the yeah, not just
Getting
smoke,
that
it's charcoal.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot
That's
more.
really nice.
It's almost like you're sitting at a campfire and it's
Yeah.
kind of going into your face.
It's like you're
almost.
drinking the fire.
Exactly. And this is the Tasmanian Lark. So this is a peated whiskey, which means they smoke the malt.
Wow, that's good too.
It's a little bit sweeter though, this one, isn't it?
So there we go. Tasmania swept it down the hatch. All right. After that whiskey, I am primed for my spa treatment.
Sapphire is an award-winning luxury retreat with a distinctly Tasmanian flavor.
This is a Sapphire resort, and it looks super high-end, which is something that I wasn't quite expecting after seeing all this rugged Tasmanian sort of countryside.
This boutique retreat is the place to rejuvenate oneself in luxury. At the heart of the sanctuary is the spa, offering personalized treatments.
Hi, Justin. I'm Sharon. We're looking after you today.
Hi, Sharon. I'm
Welcome.
I'm losing all ability to comprehend anything.
I haven't even got a stone on there yet.
No, oh God, it's because nobody touches me like this.
These massage stones are chiseled from pink granite, taken from the Hazard Mountains across the bay.
Oh,
Is it too hot?
no, it's good. It's like being rubbed with hot sticks of butter. So everybody who checks into a room here gets to have the rocks.
Well, they can choose the spa treatment of their choice.
What other spa treatments do you have?
Oh, we have many spa treatments. We have body scrubs, the steam room, we have facials.
This is exactly what I needed.
One of the great things about Tasmania is that it's still largely pristine and untouched. So there's not a lot of development, which means you can get incredible views of the night sky.
Tonight, I sleep in comfort beneath the stars. Tomorrow, I rise to a rugged day. I'm in the parking lot of the Hazards, and they've got sort of a unique Tasmanian thing here. It's a pay and display box, otherwise known as an honesty box. Take out one of these envelopes. You can pay for your parking here, and it's sort of up to you. It's on the honor system. I could call it the naive box, but I won't, because I'm a nice guy, so I'm gonna pay. I'm on my way to meet my friend Nicola, who's gonna lead me on a hike of the Hazards. Let's hope it's not too hazardous.
G'day, Jason.
Hey, did you hear my hazard joke?
I did. So we'll head up the top and walk to the lookout here and get a beautiful view of Wineglass Bay. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you might find some dolphins or some whales.
Well, I was born Lucky Sarge, so.
Right, well, we're going to prove that theory. So it's about 45 minutes up.
45 minutes for
back.
for who? For you. So maybe 15, 20 for me.
I was thinking an hour 20.
With its rugged landscape, pink granite views, and dozens of trails, the Freycinet National Park Hazards Range is a hiker's paradise.
It looks beautiful, but it looks really unforgiving.
It is quite unforgiving. Tasmania's east coast is notoriously dry. When you're bushwalking around Freycinet, you've got to be prepared and you've got to carry all your water in with you as well.
Yeah, because I don't want to have to survive out here on my own. Maybe we should get moving.
We've only got 5 minutes up that way, and
5 minutes?
yeah, then we're at the lookout.
So 5 minutes for the average person.
Yeah, 5
But
minutes.
1 minute for me. I'm not running. Yeah, I got her to run. I'm not running anymore. I'm taking it easy.
Welcome to Wineglass Bay. Oh,
Beautiful.
what a view.
So
eh?
called because of its shape, Wineglass Bay also earned its name from Tasmania's dark history of whaling. When the whales were driven into the stem of the glass area of the bay, the waters ran red with their blood. But nowadays, it's just clear blue water, surrounded by amazing hiking trails and camping spots.
Pretty specky spot out here on Freycinet.
Pretty specky.
Specky, yeah. Yeah.
Spectacular?
Yeah, spectacular.
Good thing you shortened that. We
Yeah.
saved so much time now.
Yeah.
After my hike, I decided to take in the scenery in a different way by playing a round of golf at the Freycinet golf course.
So I noticed you've got all these houses right along the fairway here. Who's living there?
Most of them are shack owners, what we call holiday makers. We call a holiday home a shack.
Okay.
Australian term. Not very many people live here permanently, but they like to have their shacks close to the golf course for the obvious reason. Plus they've got the whole vista of the mountains and everything got behind as well, so it's just a great place to be.
But it's beautiful country. It's awesome to have this sort of view when you're playing golf.
Lovely putt.
Very good. You're very supportive. Is everybody this supportive at the Freycinet Golf Club?
Everyone's very supportive of Freycinet Golf Club. They love coming here.
What is the name Freycinet? That's French, right?
Freycinet. It's a French name. Yeah, Nicolas Bourdin is one of the early seafarers, named Freycinet Peninsula.
So the French just came and named everything and left.
Left.
Just like the French.
Finally, something I was good at. But it was over too soon. Time to bid farewell to Freycinet and my new friends. I had a long way to travel down the spectacular coastline to a place whose name once struck terror in the hearts of many a brave man and woman, Port Arthur.
Port Arthur started as a timber settlement in the 1830s, and they became the most notorious prison industrial complex in Australian history. To get the lowdown, I'm going to talk to Port Arthur expert, Andrew. So this beautiful place was a prison.
It certainly was. It was the place where convicts were sent after they'd arrived in the colony if they committed further offences once they were here.
So this is where you put like the worst of the worst.
They were repeat offenders.
So they get sent down to Australia for doing whatever, and then they come to Australia, and they mess up again, and they get sent here. This is like solitary confinement for the continent.
It wasn't all solitary confinement. The building that we're going to see shortly, the separate prison, that was very much based on solitary confinement. And that was part of a major humanitarian experiment in the middle of the 19th century.
What were some of the initiatives that they had in the separate prison to try to reform prisoners?
Well, the method that they chose was to remove all distractions. You had no contact with other prisoners or guards. You didn't speak. You were kept in your solitary cell. And it was believed that by this removal of external stimulus, that would focus the mind and allow the prisoner to concentrate on what they had done wrong, to focus on their sin, if you like.
That would focus me on becoming insane.
Well,
did it work? Did the method work?
I think it's fairly widely accepted now that it wasn't an entirely successful experiment. This is the central hall of the separate prison. So from this point, the guard would sit at this little desk and he could observe the three accommodation wings of the separate prison. Accommodation wings, the solitary cells, as well as the exercise yard. And behind us here we have the chapel at the separate prison, which is an extremely special place.
Here in the chapel on Sundays, prisoners were permitted to have human contact, if you can call it that. They were led from their cells, hooded, and locked in these cubicles, unable to see or speak to each other, but able to sing together. It's no wonder an asylum had to be built next door.
And I'm going to shut you in this one here, so if you'd like to...
Terrific.
There you can get a taste of...
prison life. This is the other human contact that you get.
You could raise your voice in song at the appropriate...
I can raise my voice in song at the appropriate moment.
For a different experience, try the Paranormal Investigation tour to see the sights at night. Definitely not for the faint-hearted.
Welcome to the Paranormal Investigation experience, where I'll be investigating paranormal things and having an experience. What? Why would that door open like that?
Are you lost?
Why would you do that?
Hauntings were first reported here in 1870. Most of our hauntings seem to be related to the houses of the officers. So this is the Commandant's house. This one's for you. This is an EMF detector.
Okay.
So that detects electromagnetic fields. We're going to turn the lights off. The best room to start you off in is right at the back of the house.
Yeah, because that's the creepy room.
It is the creepy room.
Okay.
It's the worst room in the house.
It's the worst.
It is.
Well, you go first.
A lot of visitors who come here tend to report this chair rocking on its own. Various different visitors over the years come in and see someone sitting in the chair, and they say it's a little old lady, she's wearing old-fashioned clothes, and is generally said to be fairly unpleasant and likes to get rid of people.
So how does she get rid of people? She rocks harder?
She yells at them and has come up with some pretty foul language.
So there's an old foul-mouthed lady who sits in this chair?
Absolutely.
That sounds like a regular Sunday morning in my neighborhood. All right, this place definitely does have atmosphere during the day, and at night, it is downright creepy. Now, did I see anything, did I witness anything that would make me think it was haunted? Not so much.
I needed some cheering up. And lucky for me, just down on the other side of Port Arthur was a boat warmed up and ready for my great escape. I was bound for an eco-adventure tour away from the calm waters of the port. I feasted my eyes on the incredible wind and wave-blasted geological artwork that made the sea cliffs here so unique. I'm off to visit Tasman Island.
We're at one of the southernmost tips of Australia, and this is the highest sea cliff in the country. It's over 300 meters tall. It's pretty imposing. What's really impressive, well, no, this is really impressive, but what I find impressive is that we've got these seals up here on the rocks. How do you climb with flippers?
Sitting on top of this rugged island is a lighthouse, one of the most isolated light stations in Australia.
So behind me you can see this little structure, a little bit of a dock, and then this sort of pathway leading up onto the top of the rock here. 3 families actually lived here for 70 years to man the lighthouse, and this is how they would get all their gear and everything up. It was quite a commute to the grocery store. So behind me are some Australian fur seals, which are the biggest fur seals in the world apparently. They're about 300 kilos sitting around on the rock. And this guy right behind me who's just, it looks like a big mass of butter. So here's the lighthouse behind me. Now that would have been manned by the 3 families. Now it's all automated, but nobody's living here anymore. So no one's suffering to keep this thing going. Here's the southeasternmost tip of Australia. This is the last piece of land, and then you've got 2,500 kilometers straight out, in Antarctica. During storms, you'll get sea spray and waves that'll actually go right over this structure, which is incredible to think about. And I'm really happy we're not here on a day like that. Welcome to Tasmania. About to talk to Rob Penick, who was, get this, 2012 National Geographic Traveler of the Year. And so tell me about being the 2012 Traveler of the Year. How do you get that?
I got it for going around Australia in a 17-foot rubber dinghy with 8 inches of freeboard.
You went around Australia in a rubber dinghy?
That's right. It was 22,500 kilometres and a lot of very exciting moments.
So about your Tasman cruise, what are some of the highlights of that trip?
Well, for you definitely saw beautiful albatross, lots of other seabirds. Normally we get dolphins 8 out of 10 days, so bad luck.
Really? 80% chance?
80% chance.
We're on the 20% no dolphin cruise.
That's right.
And how about your future plans? I heard there's some top secret boats.
And we're going to start a new business called Tasmanian Seafood Seduction. We'll be setting a couple of cray pots. The skipper or deckhand will be jumping in and pulling out the abalone. We'll be stopping at an oyster farm, mussels, sea urchin, and prepare a beautiful seafood bounty on the back of the boat.
Wow, that sounds incredible. I'll have to come back in October then.
We'll look forward to it.
Thanks a lot, Rob.
Thanks, Jason.
I'm in Barilla Bay, and this is the Barilla Bay restaurant. Now, this entire area is known for its juicy, succulent oysters, so guess what? I'm gonna go eat some oysters. Wow, this is a tremendous plate of oysters. And they're all from around here.
Very much so. Straight out of the bay this morning. You've got your fresh oysters, red wine vinaigrette, Kilpatrick oysters, all Tasmanian Pacific oysters. This bay here has been oyster farming for about 30 years. It's a fantastic bay for producing beautiful, plump Tasmanian oysters.
I'm gonna eat one.
Definitely, go for it.
Oh my gosh.
So that one there is our own Kilpatrick sauce.
Bacon and oyster together at last.
Perfect marriage. These ones here still have the salt water inside. We pull them out of the water, the lid clamped shut, so the essence of Barilla Bay is trapped inside that oyster, because this is full salt water. And that's a lot to take. So it'll be interesting to see your facial expressions, Jason. Now, get ready for the saltwater taste.
So this is the essence of Barilla Bay right here.
This is Barilla Bay.
Go for it. It's actually really good.
It's totally different, isn't it?
Totally different. The very first part of it with the salt water reminds me a lot of choking while I'm diving. But then you get back to the fatty, and they're really plump when they're fresh. Like they're just like full of.
Exactly. For an oyster connoisseur, this is the way you eat them. Fresh out of the water, open them up, bang, straight down.
Well, from now on, I am an oyster connoisseur, and I'm only eating my oysters by shucking them myself.
All right, mussels, oysters, all those are great, but abalone is the diamond of the sea. So I dropped into Tas Live Abalone to find out more.
These are the live wild caught abalone.
These are wild.
Okay, this one's over 1 kilo. This would be up to 15 to 20 years old.
This is 15 to 20 years old.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to cook one of these abalone.
All right.
What we're going to do is cook it Western style. We've got a bit of garlic butter and a bit of olive oil. It's been tenderised once or twice, and we're going to start cooking. We're going to sear each side of it.
Why are Tasmanian abalone, why are they so high quality?
Well, they're wild. They're natural. Tasmania's got the last wild fishery left, but basically sustainable in the world. And we supply 60% of Australia's abalone and 25% of the world abalone wild. Just I want to show you that, how white the meat is.
It does look really good, actually.
Yeah. So what we're doing is cutting and searing it.
It's pretty much ready to go, huh?
Yep. It's going to be hot.
Yeah, we'll have to cool that down a bit.
Australian barbecue. Get into it. Beautiful. Tender.
Fully tender.
Just a slight garlic taste through it, and a nice olive oil and buttery. We'll try this other one. This is a dry one.
Looks like a crazy bath sponge. These retail for more than the live stuff or the frozen stuff.
It's like a red wine. If you think of red wine and white wine, we just ate white wine. Now we're eating red.
It's nice, but I think that I'm a white wine kind of guy. I think I have to go, I like this thing. This with a beer? Perfect.
Tasmania's capital city, Hobart, was recently rated as one of the top cities in the world by Lonely Planet. It's a heritage place reflecting a colorful colonial past founded on convicts, whalers, wealthy merchants, and sailors. But Hobart is also about tomorrow. Georgian warehouses have been converted into galleries, hip cafes, and gourmet restaurants.
It's got the wharf here, the restaurant there, so the food must be terribly unfresh.
It doesn't get much fresher, Jason. You're right, it's a pretty unique situation. A working fishing dock in the middle of Hobart, our capital city, comes straight in off our boat and into Muirs. They catch their own fish. We make products like this, our smoked salmon. Yeah.
Who's your cover model? You've got Bernie, fisherman.
Bernie's one of our actual fishermen.
Really?
Yeah, we've got Jono here.
That's totally authentic. You're not faking anything.
No.
This is the real deal. The fisherman on the package is right there.
Give us a wave, Jono. So there's a range of gourmet products we do, but obviously the core of our business, as it always has been, is about fresh fish, straight from the Tasmanian oceans into our windows. So we've got a couple of more popular local varieties, like the striped trumpeter, and obviously our signature fish, Tasmanian salmon.
Oh, that looks incredible.
Yeah.
Talk about a seafood lover's paradise.
I love you, salmon.
My final stop is Mona, the Museum of Old and New Art, which is just a short trip from Hobart on the Mona Roma ferry. Housing Australia's biggest private art collection, Mona is now a Tasmanian institution and is already considered one of the world's best contemporary art galleries, drawing visitors from around the world. But before I go in, I'm going to grab a quick lunch at Mona's exceptional restaurant, The Source.
So we have two crab dishes here. They're both starkly different. Here we have spanner crab, which is cooked with squid ink pasta, very traditional. So what do you think?
It's very nice.
This dish has, again, spanner crab, foie gras mousse, an oyster which has been house smoked, the Pedro Ximenez jelly. It's a much more subtle dish than what the first one that you had. So which one's your favourite out of the two?
I've got to go with this guy.
Yeah, right, okay.
Does that make me like a fancy art critic?
It does.
Win.
Mona, here I come. Owner David Walsh has described the gallery as a subversive adult Disneyland.
Can you believe that right now I am in an art gallery? And this trampoline and all these bells is actually an art exhibit, which means I'm art.
Okay. Uh-oh. Delia, the research curator, is waiting for me. I'm not in trouble, am I? I'm an art novice. I know nothing about art.
So you have a very strong heartbeat. So each person that comes after you, your pulse will move down the line.
Can I see your heartbeat? That looks much calmer. Yours is more soothing. Mine is more manic. I think I gotta cut down on the caffeine.
Just pull out one of those drawers. I love you. I love you. So if you don't feel like you ever get enough love,
I don't.
you just come into the drawer.
I've got to open these all up. Finally.
I love you.
So someone's been overfeeding the Porsche. All right, I'm here at the Cloaca machine, or art exhibit. And Cloaca is actually named after the ultimate orifice, where all sorts of things come out. Oh, it smells authentic. You know, my friend made one of these. It's called a baby. Ooh, that's something. I think you might want to chew a little more. Some of those seeds are whole. Wow. You know, when the first convicts got to Tasmania, the rugged landscape, everything here is probably like hell on earth. But for the modern traveler, Tasmania is a can't miss. It's reinvigorated me.
Yeah, Tasmania! Tasmania! Tasmania!